Let's talk a little bit about your trip out of Theresienstadt to, I'm sorry, not out of Theresienstadt, out of Auschwitz, and that landed you
To Öderan.
Erdogan. And how long were you there?
I was there from November to in May. Beginning
about
of
6
May.
months.
Yeah, 5.5 months, something.
What did you do there?
Well, first, I worked electrical wires underground on the main street.
And
I had wooden shoes, and it was cold and freezing.
uncomfortable to say the least.
Yes. And everybody wanted to get into this group because we had privileges. And the privilege was, if you were hungry, you might get a half a spoon more of ladle spoon more of food, of
Sure.
soup or whatever they had.
Sure.
Okay, that was a big thing. So, I don't know.
Okay. And how? And at the end of this, was there information coming to you then that the war was ending, or that this whole thing may be coming to an end?
Well, that was already when we had the March of Death. Okay?
Before that, did you know?
They were building another, I would say, factory across the street. That's why they needed the electrical underground.
Mm-hmm.
And once that was finished, we worked on the mountain to lay underground wiring there.
Mm-hmm.
That was very interesting to me,
Sure.
but it was hard work.
Oh, I bet it was.
You had to really hit into the ground because the ground was so icy.
Frozen.
Yeah.
And so at this point in time, things were as of this point in time, things were normal for you.
Yes, we didn't know what next. Where are we going to find out which concentration camp next? We didn't know.
And then there came a day where you were all ordered to leave.
No, all of a sudden we were in front of the gate of Theresienstadt, and we said, well, we might as well go in. This way we will have food. If we stay out here, we can't run into the Germans that are back behind us. The Russians were still further than that.
Okay, so how did we end up on the?
All of us went through the gate, and they took us right away into disinfection place. They gave us different clothing, and that was it.
How did we end up on the death march? How did that come about?
We start walking,
Did
and
they
if people get tired and cannot continue, you don't carry them, or at least we don't carry them. They die. You kill them.
Sure. And how did that come to pass? I mean, how did you begin
The
walking?
Germans came up with it.
Okay, so you were in your camp, and did they just come in one day and line you all up and say?
And they lined up everybody, and we started walking. No, first we were in a train,
Mm-hmm.
and then this train was, what can I say? They put 100 of us in. They didn't have no benches or anything like that. And then we had to get out. So then they took a hose from the station and sprinkled us, and that was called the washing us. We were all wet, what can I tell you?
Sure.
Including the clothes and everything.
Yeah.
And then, after a few days, then we started walking.
So were you just kind of, how long were you on the train, do you remember?
Well, on and off. One day, then nothing, just on and off.
Sure. So then you get to some point, they drop you off and spray you down.
Yes, always in the stations in the back of it. so the people don't see it too much.
So they
Or at night, when the trains are, not in use.
so they sprayed you off and then they left you at the train station, or?
Oh, no, we had to go back into the wagon again.
Oh, so they kept you in the train away from sight.
Right.
And then for a couple of days you were did you have food?
Well, we took the food with us, what we had in Öderan. There was still some food left in the cellar.
Okay.
And before we left, my mother prepared it, but there was very little. But it was better than nothing.
And did they allow you to take that? They said just grab it?
Yeah, this was permitted.
Okay.
And then, as we got into a station, the overseer ordered, I don't know where she got it, ordered bread. And it was delivered to us. But what and how, I really don't know.
They took you off the train,
Right,
sprayed you down,
right,
and said start walking?
yeah.
Is that basically?
And every time we got off and we started walking, they had soldiers, but they were real children,
How old?
16 years old,
And they marched with you?
on the sides. On the
And
sides.
what was their function?
So we don't run away,
Okay. And you had no idea where you were heading?
no. Then after a little while, they put us back on the train. So we were in the open train when Dresden had the main bombing. And I remember some women even took off whatever they had and started waving it, because it was white,
Sure.
to let them know not to shoot there,
Because you were prisoners.
Right.
So they, how long was the train always there for you, or was there a time where you got off the train and that
got
was?
off the train and different.
And then you started walking from there?
Yes.
And how long did you walk?
We walk usually a good 3-4 hours.
Okay. And then?
Then the overseer walked with us.
Mm-hmm.
And but she did not go into the wagon, the overseer.
And as people got weak?
They better not.
They better not. What would happen?
We kept them for a few days because hoping that they will let us off from, but the last thing we had the march, and we couldn't take them on the march. That's what I remember, that they left her behind, and that was it.
And how long was the actual march?
Well, I would say maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks.
So 10 to 14 days.
Oh yeah.
And so
and
you
they,
got off.
And they had always filled up the concentration camps with people because they kept calling, should we take the train now? Should we take the train now? And the answer was no, we are overfilled, stay where you are. And that was our luck.